Podcast. My name is Grace and today is Tuesday, October 8th. This is a podcast about knitting books, baking, and cats, but most importantly knitting because that is what I love to do all day, every day. I have various social medias you can follow me on. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Ravelry. I am most active on Instagram, so please go follow me over on there if you'd like to see what I get up to during the times that I have not recorded and don't record, as I have been gone for a month. And I am back now, but if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen what I got up to. I also have show notes, so links to things that I will be talking about will be there. If you are on YouTube, the link to my blog is down below, or if you are on my blog already, everything is already there. I am also a knitting pattern and tech editor, so if you know of someone who is in need of an editor for any upcoming knitting patterns, I would love to work with you. You can send me a message on Instagram, we can chat more about it, or you can check out the Graceful Edits tab, which is on my blog as well. We have a lot to cover. I'm back, hello. Nice to see you again, dear friends. I'm going to be very out of practice, I'm going to be very out of breath because breath control is a thing when you podcast, fun fact. And yes, we're going to talk about how we're going to talk about things, and let's just get straight into it. So if you like to grab something tasty to drink, something to snack upon, something to craft upon, an animal to snuggle, a laundry to fold, whatever it may be. I have laundry to fold later, I have a sleeping animal that is over there on the couch, and I have my iced coffee that I've been drinking all day so far. And it's almost gone, so that's sad, but I've been enjoying it, so. Whatever it is, I hope it is bringing you joy and or rest, or I'm helping you get through a task that is not as pleasant or fun for you personally, whatever that may be. You do all of those things, none of those things, whatever it is, and you come back and join me for some crafty chat. So hello, everyone. How are you? What have you been working on? I hope September was good for you. It was busy. It was a very busy time, but it was a fun time. It was full of adventure for me, a lot of traveling, a lot of fun things, seeing family, seeing friends, meeting people, a lot of yarny goodness. It was just a full month of exciting things. Resulted in being very tired, but a very happy kind of tired. Resulted in coming back to the real world and coming back to regular routines, which I was talking to a friend. Who did I say that to? I think it was someone at church yesterday. I was saying that coming back to routines is something that I have a love-hate relationship with. I feel like there's always that post-travel blues that I feel like a lot of people go through, but there's also, I know I feel this way, I know a lot of people I know feel this way, of just this need for routines and things that you're used to and that kind of thing. When you're traveling, all that is up in the air. So there's kind of like this, I'm happy to be back to my routines, but also like I have to go back to other regular things like doing the laundry every week, that kind of thing, that are not as fun. And it's just a reminder that your fun things are over and you have to come back to reality. And that's just a fact of doing fun things. So I'm very grateful to have done the fun things that I did and did all the traveling that I did. And we have a lot to talk about. So because I went to 2 yarny events in particular, and to prevent this being a 3-hour long episode, I don't want that. I don't think you want that either. If you do, you are very kind. I'm sorry that this is not going to be that. I don't think anybody wants that, but I don't want this to be too long, so I'm going to break up the month of September and just trying to cover everything. I'm gonna forget things, unfortunately, and they'll come to me at random times, I'm sure. there are probably projects that I've worked on, projects that I have finished that I will forget to talk about. So there's that. I'm saying this like I feel like you all are going to be offended. I know that's not the case. This is just a pressure I'm putting on myself, and I'm verbally saying out loud, it really doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's really okay. So I'm going to forget things. It's going to be okay. It's not the end of the world. No one is going to be mad at me for forgetting things. But I do have some finished things. We're going to start at the beginning of the month of September, and just the fun things that led up to the weekend in Colorado, where my mom and I got to take some classes and a like little meet and greet time with one of our favorite designers, Gudrun Johnston, at Maker and Stitch. So, which is my mom's local yarn shop, and it was absolutely wonderful. I completely forgot to bring it out here. See, I forgot and I remembered while recording. So, I might go get it. I don't know. We're gonna talk about some things first. But, so yes, I had my knitwear planned out for these events. The first one was the Hap class, and it's H-A-P, it's not H-A-T. I am saying Hap, which is the Scottish Shetland word for shawl or to wrap up, which is something that we learned, and it was so much fun. I got to make a mini Hap, and I honestly don't know where that is. It's somewhere. I'm gonna go find it really quick. I think I know where it is. Okay. I do apologize. I went and got my mini Hap. It was so much fun. It's not blocked. It really should be blocked, but it is not. But we got to learn. That is like so cute. Can we even? That is so adorable. I don't know why I'm so amused by that, but that's just too cute. So we got to do this little mini Hap. We got to use Jameson. I came home with a big bag of Jameson, and this was just a little bit of it. I had some other balls of yarn for another project that I'm going to show you. Because Maker and Stitch now carries Jameson, which is super exciting. So we got to pick out colors and learn all the anatomy of Haps, which was super cool and so inspirational in more ways than one, and I'm just so happy with what we learned. It was just so much fun, and it was a smaller class, and we had a great time with everyone else who took the class. Was just so much fun, and obviously my mom was there as well, and Gudrun is amazing, and it was just so much fun to meet her in person, and it's just truly a delight. So then that evening, I believe, was kind of like not a seminar, but it was just kind of like a little slideshow situation, meet and greet situation, where we all were at Maker and Stitch, and more people came for that, and it was more of a like sit and chat and learn about Shetland and learn about the history of Shetland knitting and that kind of thing, and very educational, super fascinating, again, just so inspirational. As a side note of just everything, all the opportunities that I got to learn about knitting and the fiber arts and just yarn in general in the month of September was so incredible. Like, I am just blown away. Which I'm sure you're like, what are you talking about? You just took a class. That's pretty normal. You learned things. How is this so different than any other thing that you might learn? from YouTube or that you taught yourself. And I don't know, it's just because I haven't taken classes, knitting classes or yarn classes. I took a color class at DFW. It's because I haven't taken an in-person class like that, either yarn, knitting related or otherwise, because college was a while ago. It was just so cool. It was nice to be reminded, and just kind of like, it did something in my mind that was like, whoa, 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 this is so cool. This is amazing. You've learned so much. You can take all these little itty bitty tools of these little minute details that you've learned, and you can make little adjustments in your knitting and your color choices and like the things that you knit and the things that you choose to make and how you make them, and it's gonna make it so it's even more special to me personally, which I just love. I think that's amazing. And all the classes that we took were super awesome. All the teachers were great in their own different ways, and I just came away from the month of learning so inspired, so extremely inspired, which is wonderful because I feel like I haven't been this inspired. How many times can I reference me being inspired or say the word inspire in a very long time? And I'm just really happy and very grateful for that, all the opportunities that we had. So we had this like little meet and greet session with Gundren at Maker and Stitch. It was super fun, very educational. And then the next day was the colorwork class, and it was amazing. So incredible. Also, side note, first day I wore my my Elton pullover by Hohi Locatelli, and I was very sad that I didn't have another Gundren sweater to wear. I thought like I could maybe pull something out of my hat sweater wise with one of her patterns. That was just not realistic. So on my flight to my parents, I literally cast it on the night before. I made one of Gundren's cowl patterns, which is like the mini Hap. It's got a different name, but it's like a cowl. I don't remember the name of it, so I do apologize, but it will be in my show notes, and I literally like knit this in less than 24 hours. It's all stash. It's very easy to do. Would make more of these, honestly. So I did have this to wear over my sweater. Did get hot, so I did have to take it off, but that's okay. I was also just very happy to be wearing my Elton pullover, which is out of my Gilmore Girls yarn, which is special to me. That's a whole other conversation, but I did get to wear it, and that was exciting. Because Colorado is not Texas or Houston when it comes to weather, obviously. So I did get to wear this, and I'm pretty happy with my color choices. And for being able to knit it up in less than 24 hours, I think is pretty good. So, and it was fun to walk into this Hap class wearing this with the aspects of what Haps have. So that was fun. So I did get to wear that. On day 2, because it was a colorwork class, and it's just so much fun. So much fun. I wore my Porty, my finished Porty. It got done. I didn't even pack it when it was damp. It was completely dry. I successfully finished my Porty pullover, and I got to wear it to her colorwork class, which was just like, brought me so much joy in more ways than one. I was just so excited about that. So yes. It was also very exciting because I got to meet Madi of the Colorado Knitter podcast, which we have been acquaintances and friends on social media for a while at this point, and we got to meet in person, which was very exciting. And she had finished her Yoki Doki sweater, which is also by Gudrun, and we had kind of like been trying to finish these in time for this class, and so it was fun to see hers and her finished sweater and get to meet her in person and have my finished sweater as well. We were truly working with very intense deadlines. But we got it done, and then we got to wear them to this colorwork class, and it was so exciting. So within the colorwork class, we learned the history of the sheep and kind of how just the combinations and placement of colors kind of started in Shetland knitting and how they evolved over time and where they are now, and tips on how to place them into into patterns that have color work or actually have traditional Fair Isle patterns, which we learned the difference between the two, which I think is fascinating. And I look at color work a completely different way now and look at picking colors in a different way as well, and it's just so inspirational. So we got to make some colorwork swatches. We had two little motifs. One was a bigger swatch and one was a smaller swatch. And then at the end, oh my goodness, everyone, we had the opportunity to use a needle felter that Gudrun had brought from Clover, and it's in my Amazon cart right now. I need to actually purchase it because of my Eve's cardigan, which is sitting over there, that needs to be steeked. But it blew my mind. I was like, how have I not done this before? This is incredible. We needle felted these swatches and then we cut them. No reinforcement, no nothing. This isn't come undone. This has been smushed around in like my bags traveling to and from Colorado. It's been smushed around in project bags. It's been smushed around everywhere. If you would have thought that it would have come undone, it has not. So, highly impressed. So anyway, here is my first swatch. We were given we had two different palettes we could pick from that Maker and Stitch had, or I believe that Gudrun had actually put together for the class that we could pick from, and I went with this particular palette. They weren't named, but I like this palette. And I can't remember if my mom went with the same palette, or maybe she didn't. Oh, I think she did. Did she? Yes, she did. So this is the bigger motif, and this was not like how you should put your colors together. This is not the correct placement or a good placement for these colors. I was just playing around and just wanted to see what would happen, and just kind of like pick colors that I thought would look good together and put them in places that might not have been my first choice, but I wanted to like learn. So this was a great learning experience. We learned what is called breaking the pattern, which is when you have like these really stark contrasty lines within the motif, and so it literally breaks the pattern. It draws your eye away from what the motif is and makes it look more stripy. So I loved learning that. Then, after doing this one, I still had time to make a small one. So this one I'm way more happy with, but it's a class. I was not going for perfection. That was not the goal, to like come up with these color palettes that was like going to change the world or anything. That was not the point. I learned what I wanted to learn out of doing this, and I'm very happy with that. And I have a cool little swatch. Two swatches really. And so then with this one, I asked more detailed questions, or just kind of questions that help me visualize how to pick colors that wouldn't break the pattern. And Gundren kind of helped me, or we talked it through, and I thought it was fascinating. So I'm excited to do my next Fair Isle colorwork sweater that involves stuff like this, and now I know how to pick my colors better and do the placement. This one I did needle felt, so you actually can kind of see in the back that that's been needle felted right there. So I could, in theory, cut this and it would be fine, but I am just so happy with how it turned out, and I learned so much, and it was just so cool. I was like, wow. All three classes, the two classes and the one seminar type thing, it was such a, like, I blinked and it was over. It was just so much fun, and there was so much of, like, I am trying to be the best sponge I can to take in as much information as I can, as quickly as I can, so I can absorb more and learn more and just be excited about it. And the time just went by so fast, and those are core memories of this year for sure. I had such a fun time. It was, again, so inspirational. Truly changed my knitting life, and not being dramatic when I say that, but I learned so much that it's gonna change how I look at things and the decisions I make, and I'm so excited. And also, like, I mean, it's how I'm going to do things. It's obviously not the right or wrong way to do things. If you want to do them differently, if it makes you happy, that's all that matters. This brings me so much joy. I can't even begin to tell you. So I am so excited about my future projects that involve Fair Isle knitting, traditional Fair Isle knitting. And what's also really cool, and not even what I'm going to talk about today, but later when I went to DFW with my mom and my sister, we took speed knitting from Stephanie Pearl McPhee, or you might know her as the Yarn Harlot. Oh my goodness. Again, my mind was blown. But that involved knitting belts and how people knit from Shetland, and how they knit so quickly, and like the techniques that they used were part of that class. And then we learned how to lever knit. So I know how to lever knit now, and again, it's just like my eyes have been opened. I know so much now. So, but like the fact that without knowing that these things were going to be connected, ended up being connected, was like, what is my life? This is so incredible. I love this so much. I'm using these things that I learned at the beginning of the month, and now I'm taking this other class where I'm learning a whole other like aspect of it, and like how to do it, and I know this other context, and this is so cool to be learning from a different perspective, and it was just so cool. I am just so excited about the things that I learned. It reignited like this love of knitting and yarn and the fiber arts and things like that. And I don't know. My head is bouncing around of things that I want to say, but I just don't have words for them. It's one of those things, like, you know how when like you have a handful of topics that like if you needed to stand up and give a 10-minute presentation on, you could do it no problem. I can do that obviously with knitting and with other things too. There are a handful of things that I really passionately love and am very into. But with knitting, obviously I can do that. Not a problem for me. But after these classes, I was just like, can someone ask me to do this? Because I would just love to tell you about all this stuff that I learned. And I like telling Sam, who's my husband if you're new, telling Sam about all these like technical details that I learned, and I was like, oh, but you don't understand, you don't know what I'm actually talking about, and I feel bad that you don't, but like technically this is just so cool, and I wish that you understood, and that's okay that you don't, but let me give you not a 10-minute presentation on knitting, but let me give you a 30-minute presentation on knitting, because I would love to. Truly. Truly, deeply, I would love to do that. And I'm just so pumped about it. So, I'm just gonna keep on talking in circles about this. So we're going to move on slightly so I don't like just keep on talking about it. Because we do have projects to cover and we do have some yarn acquisitions to cover, goodness knows, and I gotta keep things going. So from the weekend at Maker and Stitch, and obviously Jameson was purchased because it was the weekend of inspiration. We were all like, we need everything in Jameson now. Also to see Gudrun's samples and like to feel them and feel how soft they get, and like just, again, so inspirational, and just makes me so upset that it doesn't get really that cold here where I live. It's so sad. And that's a whole other topic that we're not going to get into, but fun fact, yeah, weather, I would say weather is one of those things that I can get really passionate about. That's a whole other discussion. So, my mom got yarn for, I have the book, I got a book, and she signed it. It was very well. I'm gonna go get it. So we got copies of the Grand Shetland Adventure knits, which is by Gudrun and Mary Jane Mucklestone, and I would just like to live in this book, you know, like it's one of those books, and just like the vibes, the pictures, the atmosphere, I just want to be there. So also consequently, my parents had just finished watching the most recent season of Shetland, the TV show, and we were like, we have to start over now. We have to like immerse ourselves again because we love this so much. We must. So we actually started season 1 of Shetland while I was still there. But yeah, so she signed it for me. Whoops, this is the class handout, but she signed it for me, which is so sweet. And my mom is making, what is she making? The cake fridge hat. I knew it was cake. It was like a cake shelf, cake house, cake fridge, which is a thing in Shetland. And here's a picture of it. So this is what my mom is making. And we got to see this sample, which was very fun. And I am wanting to make it as well. But I decided that I wanted to make my own hap. A big hap compared to this guy. This is still a small hap. This is a half hap, and it's the Hansel hap pattern by Gudrun. And so this is what I wanted to do for my project, and so she helped me kind of pick out colors with like colors that I liked, and also kind of with more traditional but with a modern vibe. And everyone, this like this project again has brought me so much joy. I can't even begin to tell you how much. Ooh, that looks so good. I'm so excited about this. I can't even begin to tell you. I am so happy with how this has turned out. I have loved working on this, and unfortunately this project is slowly coming to an end. I just have one more, oops, on my nail. That should probably be filed down, but that's okay. I have one more row of the gray, and then I start the border. And I'm so sad that it's gonna be over. And this has just brought me so much joy. And also, if you've noticed, if you have a little keen eye to detail, you would notice that this is technically what we would call feather and fan, but by Shetland version or Shetland descriptions names, this is the old shale stitch pattern or old shell stitch pattern, but we would also know it as feather and fan, but it's the same thing. I have spoken very passionately in the past how I really don't like feather and fan. It bothers me. I can never get it right. My friends, I have been converted. I love it so much. I still mess it up, but that's okay. That's beside the point. I still get it right for the most part. I've gotten much better at getting it right. But this is all that stitch pattern. So I am a huge fan, and let's see, is this from that handout, or is this the color work one? Oh, this is. Hallelujah. What is it called? Old shell. I was correct. I did remember. And yeah, so in the class we went over like the traditional method of knitting them, the modern method of knitting a full hap, and then the modern method of knitting a half hap, which is what I'm doing. And yeah, it's called the old shell stitch pattern. Border, excuse me, sorry. Trying to get all of the words in. So we did the class. I was using these needles, or I was using the needles I needed for this on this, so I finished it quickly. Also because I was so excited to get it done. So I could cast on this amazing thing, and the pattern says it's small, but this is gonna be like the perfect size. And I'm so excited. It's so soft and squishy. And yeah, so I loved knitting this part. It was just so relaxing and so chill, and by the time I was done with it, I was like, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to play with the color. I'm so excited. I don't know what order I'm gonna put things in, and I've just had so much fun working on it. I want to do 10 more now. I don't have the time for that, and I don't have the weather for that either, which hurts my soul. But I am just over the moon with this project. I have loved working on it. The fact that it was part of a class that my mom and I took, and the fact that Gundren helped pick out the colors for it, and just all that. There are so many aspects of this project that bring me so much joy. This will always be a special. So I'm excited to be able to wear it when it does eventually cool down. We are having an unseasonably hot October. We're still having summer temperatures, and I'm not a fan. That being said, side note, so sad for Florida and South Carolina and North Carolina and Georgia and all of the disastrousness that have come from the hurricanes. It is so sad. That was a range of emotions. I'm so sorry, but I just wanted to mention that. It is so hot, and I just really want to be able to wear autumnal things, fall things, and have 10 haps and a full hap. I would love that. But no, I'll probably do it anyway. But it's just, it's too hot. It's too hot. So that was project number 1, and then this had just come out. Oopsies. This had just come out. This was a collab that Gundren did with, or Simply Shetland did with Malintosh, and it is the Cloud Drift Cowl, which you've probably seen on Instagram. I got the kit to make this warm palette one, and they came in these cool bags. And after, I think it was after the Hap class, because how this is constructed, it uses the techniques of a Hap, making a Hap. We were all like, I need this, I want this. And so we all picked out there were 2 color palettes, the cool one and the warm one, and so I ended up with the warm one. I don't remember which one my mom ended up with. That's okay. This did not get cast on for a while, but it is now cast on. And everyone, wow. Again, I don't know what about it just brings me so much joy. Can we even with that? What? So this is, I believe, I definitely messed up at the beginning, so don't look too closely there, but that's okay. It was late. I'm also using mohair. You hold a strand of mohair with something. I was using 2 small needles. I didn't want to rip it out, so we just kept on going. I fudged it so it all lined up, but it's all fine. This will be at the back of my neck anyway, so. I believe this is a Rhinebeck knit-along. I believe people who have made this will, or people who are going to Rhinebeck who have made this will have a little meetup. I honestly don't know that for certain. I'm not going to Rhinebeck. But I think this is part of that. There's maybe some Rhinebeck stuff around it. And then also I know that Casey of Young Folk Knits is hosting a mosaic knit-along right now, which is what this is. So if you're interested, super fun. Would highly recommend. This is just so much fun. And it's nice to like have the kit and to like not even worry about colors or color placement or whatever. It's literally just following it step by step, and you're gonna end up with this beautiful thing. Not that you wouldn't end up with a beautiful thing if you didn't have the kit. That is not what I'm saying. But it's just, it takes the decision making out of it, which stresses me out sometimes. So I appreciate when I don't have to make decisions. that brings me peace and joy. So I'm happy with this. I am just loving this. But Gudrun designed it. It's a collab between Simply Shetland and Madeline Tosh. And yes, so love this. Love this. Would highly recommend you checking it out if you're interested in trying something new, because it's definitely something that I've not done before and I am loving it. So okay, what are we talking about next, everyone? I think I have finished that weekend content. So now we're just moving on to other projects that I've been working on and things I have finished. And some yarn acquisitions. And some fun notes or fun information about working with kettle and hearth fibers, which I think Rusty got to this label, but we're going to talk about that in a hot second. I'm very excited. Please focus. I'm now working with Michelle. I have an affiliate code or affiliate link. So if you use my link and you purchase yarn from her or whatever she may have on her website, I get a little kickback, which is very, very fun. I'm very excited and honored to be a part of that. But that is the wrong project bag. I am about to cast on, I have free sock needles. As you can see, these are my colorwork sock needles. I am so excited. As part of being an affiliate, I got sent this skein from Michelle. This is the Nutmeg Spice colorway, which is just so beautiful. I had been looking at this colorway ever since she had posted about it. So when she said I could pick out a skein, I was like, Nutmeg Spice, please. I need this in my sock collection. It is just such a beautiful autumnal colorway. And I am pairing it with Random Stash. I think that's going to be toes and heels maybe. But these two are going to be the new, they're either going to be the ghost, they're going to be ghosts in general. Which pattern I use, I don't know yet. Summerly Knits just came out with her ghost socks for the month of October in her like sock collection, but also Stone Knits just released a couple of weeks ago her own ghosty socks, and I can't remember the name of them, but a friend of mine is making them. She's almost done and I need them. I need them. And I think this would be so beautiful, kind of like a soft vibe. Diane of the Suburban Stitcher Yarns, she just posted on her Instagram story that she knit the Stone Knits version in a very like beautiful, almost like a dreamy color palette, and this is kind of giving me these vibes, those vibes, whatever vibes. But kind of like on the more autumnal side. That being said, I also have, it may end up that both of these ghosty socks just get knit, and these, I just don't know which ones are going to be which. These are going to be first though, because I need to knit with this Nutmeg Spice ASAP because it's so beautiful. I love like the purple tones in it. I think that's what makes it just like sing into my soul. I love it so much. But I also got from, this is a new to me yarn store. It opened up very close to where I live, which is very exciting. It's called the Craftique Studios. Craftique. I think it's just Craftique. It's a yarn store nearby, and so I have been a couple times with some friends, and I got this skein from Arcane Fiberworks, and this is the Orange Oriole colorway, which I think is based off of a bird, because Orioles are a bird. So, whoa, very astute of me. So I'm very excited about this. My friend who is making the ghosty socks, that I just really love by Stone Knits is using literally this exact colorway, because we got the yarn at the same time. And I was like, that's a Halloween pair of socks, or whatever you decide to do with it. And then she cast on the ghosty socks. So that may be these, and these may be the Summerly Knits ones, which I think is probably what I want to do, because the Summerly Knit ones just have the ghosts up on the cuff, and I really want to like have this yarn be the focal point because I love it so much. So that is fun. It's also in this little project bag that I also got from Craftique that I really do love. It's very autumnal, and it's got a little snap right there. This has been the home of, we're gonna have a segue. A segue into socks I have finished recently, which are a test knit, and the only test knit that I've had for a while. Oh, everyone, I learned how to do a new type of heel, and it has also changed my life. Yes, and I will tell you about it now. So I am test knitting there for Songbird, Song something, I am so sorry. Songbird Handmade, I was correct. For Katie, but Songbird Handmade on Instagram. Obviously this will all be linked in the show notes. And she is releasing a collection sometime in November, I believe, of 3 pairs of socks that have all been inspired by holiday Christmas movies. One of them is Santa Claus. One of them is Home Alone. And one of them, of course, is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And based off of Ellen Griswold's sweater. I loved all of them. I would have been happy to test any of them, but I had the honor of testing the Ellen Griswold socks based off of her heart sweater that she wears in the movie, and I am over the moon with how these turned out. They're so cute, and they fit so well. They fit so well. I think I've really like honed in on my colorwork sock, like little aspects of what needle I need to use and what heel I use and my tension and all that kind of stuff. I think I've really dialed it in. So happy about it. I learned how to do the shadow wrap heel, which I know is not news to everybody. This is nothing new. But like, it is essentially seamless. It fits my heel so well. I feel like it takes longer than a regular heel flap and gusset, which is my preferred heel, if I'm not doing color work. But it could also just be that I am still pretty inexperienced and it's not muscle memory at this point. Please, I want to show them what the heel looks like. This is what the heel looks like when it's folded flat like that. It's incredible. My life has been changed. So much so that I'm knitting on a pair of vanilla socks that I have completely forgotten to talk about because I was so excited about all the Jameson and the Haps and Gundren and all that kind of stuff. I got to go to a yarn store in Denver and finally meet Shayna of Shayna Lines Designs, and I'm so excited that that finally happened, and I can't believe I forgot to talk about it. I was just so excited. We're going to talk about those socks in a hot second, but those socks are vanilla, nothing going on, and I'm doing this heel because I want to see what it is like on a pair of vanilla socks. So yes. So yes, these are my Ellen Griswold socks by Katie of Songbird Handmade. The white is random stash that I had the perfect amount of for this color work. The purple, which I think actually turned out beautifully. I am so happy with how this turned out. I was irritated with myself because when I went to look for yarn for this pair of socks, the original sweater is navy and white, and I was like, I don't have a navy? Out of all of this yarn, I don't have a navy sock yarn that is good for socks? What? So I was irritated, and then I found this yarn in my stash that I had had for forever, and it ended up being even better than just a plain navy. So this is Le Petit Pont Parisienne. This has been in my stash again for a very, very long time. I couldn't even tell you when I got it. But this is their merino fingering base in the Carbon Speckles colorway. And I believe that's how you say that, because this is also in French, which I should know that, but there are some things I still get confused by. But yes, I have had this in my stash for a really long time. It was supposed to be paired with another yarn for a shawl or something way back when. It literally never happened. So therefore, in my mind, when that happens to yarn I've had in my stash, it clearly wasn't like that special or that important to me personally. This is just how I function with picking out yarn. And so I was like, socks it will be. So here we are. I couldn't get this wound up. It was pretty tangled, unfortunately, so I had to hand wind it, but it looks pretty nice in this little ball, and you can kind of see the color variances a little bit better here. So I think it was perfect for this pair of socks and used up quite a bit of the yarn. So I am so happy with how these turned out. The collection's not out quite yet. I believe it comes out sometime in November, so keep your eyes peeled. And also just please follow Katie on Instagram. She creates amazing patterns, and it's also just, it's been a delight to work with her. So I have not tested for her before, and I have loved it. It has been quite a delight. Would do it again. So the Ellen Griswold socks have been finished, and my only test knit has now been complete. So that is happy. We're gonna circle back. Okay, so this happened before all the events at Maker and Stitch and everything. I flew into Denver, which flying and where I fly into is always kind of up in the air. We don't always know which is going to be the best, so this particular time it worked out better for Denver, and my parents came and picked me up. We had a very nice time hanging out in the city for them, and I got to meet my friend Shayna, because she lives pretty close to I'm blanking on the yarn store name, but I'm gonna look it up, so 1 second. We met at Colorful Yarns. I'm so sorry that I blanked on that name. It was so much to look at. Incredible selection, lots of options, lots of colors. It was kind of overwhelming, honestly, but in in a good yarny way. But I got a skein of Spun Right Round, which I have not knit with before, so that is very exciting for me to have tried this new yarn from New York, Spun Right Round, in the Memento colorway. And it just is so happy. Papa, please focus. There we go. I have loved this, and it's just, now that we're in the year of the sock and all that kind of stuff, I feel very, is comforted the right word? I don't think it is. There's something, we're gonna go with it. There's something very comforting about walking into a yarn shop and knowing that I love socks. I will shout it from the rooftops. I do in fact love knitting socks. I love socks. And now I don't, there's something very comforting about having this like fallback pattern or like fallback project that will get done, that I will love for sure. And it only requires one skein of yarn, and that's really nice. So it was nice walking in there with all the options, also knowing that we were going to Maker and Stitch later that weekend, and there would be more yarn purchased and all that kind of stuff. And so just getting the one skein for vanilla socks, it was just really nice. Ta-da! Ta-da! And I did this new type of heel, so you can see there. I feel like it turned out pretty well. This is definitely the best one I've done yet. I am just so happy with how it turns out. There have been a few other heels that are in colorwork pattern or colorwork sock patterns or whatever, or other non-colorwork sock patterns, honestly, just different types of heels, that I struggle to close all the holes that you make, or there's like it's a German short row heel or something, whatever it is. I struggle to make it look nice. That is not to say that it is a bad type of heel, because I've seen them look nice. I know it's very possible. I am just not capable of doing it. And that's okay, and maybe I just need to work harder at it, but this has changed my sock game. So I'm really happy with how this has turned out. And like I said, it fits my foot really well. Which the other ones that are similar to this like look and construction don't, for whatever reason, and I don't know why. But I'm super happy with this. So it has changed my sock life. And I got a decent amount of knitting done from here up to there. Sam and I went with a friend to a concert at some fairgrounds this past weekend. No, last Thursday. Yes? Was it Thursday? I can't remember what day it was. Sometime last week we went to a concert and I was able to work on this while standing and listening, so that was really nice, and I got a ton done. It was great. It was great. So I'm gonna go over one more finished object, and I'm gonna call it, we're gonna cut it off there because I still have more to go over, but I don't want this to be a super long episode. We're gonna try and keep this as regular as normal, as the length as usual. I think that makes sense. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say. But before I could knit my Ellen Griswold socks, I had to remove and finish the project that was on my pair of colorwork sock needles, which were these guys, and they're not done. So my orange cat socks are done. This is the Herding Cats sock pattern by Stone Knits, and I started these last year sometime. This one's clearly much better than my first one, but they fit roughly the same, so that's really okay. We're not gonna worry about it. I used a bunch of stash yarn and Regia, some type of Regia for the blue. If you are new here, hello. thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad you're here. I have a special place in my heart for orange cats. All orange cats. All cats in general, but orange cats do have a special place in my heart. I currently have an orange cat, but I started these shortly after we had to say goodbye to my, not my first orange cat, but the cat I'd had for the longest, and he was a little orange boy. So these are very special. The pattern is not written for obviously like one color of cat. You can make them however you want, but because orange cats are my favorite, I needed a pair of orange cat socks and they fit great, and I'm so excited that they're done because I really procrastinated on these and I finally just bit the bullet and got them done. So happy to have gotten those done. And yeah, I'm just very happy with these. There's something also just because of the color work is like all over the sock. They're extra squishy and I really like that. It's very satisfying. So we do also have what is going on, everyone. I refer to it as the most wonderful time of the year. And that is Mystery Knit Along Time by Stephen West. It is that time, and yes, I am participating, and yes, it is cast on. We're gonna go over it next time. I'm so sorry. I'm running short on time, and I really need to get this up and edited and all that kind of stuff. So we'll go over that next time. I do apologize. There may be pictures on my Instagram, no promises, but there may be. And so if you're interested in seeing what my progress is, they'll be up on Instagram. My yarn is by my main color is just a plain cream. It is Cascade Heritage, a solid yarn. I got it from Craftique. And then my contrasting yarn is yarn that I've had in my stash for a really long time. So we went stash, and we're gonna count it as we're using all stash, because in my mind, if you use a little bit from your stash or your collection of yarn, whatever you want to call it, and you may have to purchase a little bit to help you use more out of your collection, it's still stash busting. So I'm pretty happy about that. It is yarn from the Peachy Skein, which I've had, again, for a very long time. It was supposed to be a Bennett sister shawl. It literally never happened. And to me, that's a sign that, again, it's okay to be used for something else. I do have a matching mohair, so I don't know if I want to do that for the mohair dare. I honestly don't know if I want to do the mohair dare at all. That is yet to be determined, but apparently we have to decide in clue 2. So clue 1, oh, just people taking a walk. Clue 1, there was no mohair, so unless you put mohair in it, in which case that's wonderful. But there was no written, like, here's where you could put in mohair. I am, to use a phrase I've been using quite a lot recently, I'm holding this very loosely. I am just gonna take my sweet time. I would like to finish it. I would like to get it done. I am not trying to pressure myself to get things done on time. If this year has been any, just like the lack of test knits has just been really rejuvenating to my knitting soul. I've enjoyed the few that I've done, don't get me wrong, but it's been so nice to not have a ton of deadline knitting. It's been so nice. And so I feel like I'm still on my healing journey when it comes to that. That sounds super dramatic, but I do stand by that. I do stand by that. And so I am not gonna pressure myself to get the clues done within the week. I'm gonna have a fun time, and it's gonna be fun. I'm really happy with how it's knitting up, so I'm enjoying it so far. And I hope you are too, if you are participating. Or if you're living vicariously through others, I hope you're having a fun time doing that, because that is also a joy. Like I said, that is all that I'm going to talk about this week. There's just so much to talk about, everyone. But it's a nice problem to have. Thank you all for hanging in there while I took a break and just being patient. I really appreciate it, as always. You all are very understanding, and I appreciate that you come back when I come back, and that's really nice. I have the social media, show notes, and tech editing information. If I have forgotten anything, or if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to send me a message on Instagram, or if you just want to say hi, I would love that. Next time we will discuss, or I will discuss, unfortunately, since we can't like have an interchange, but I will discuss with you the wonderful experience at DFW this past year, and the more yarn acquisitions there, because I am so excited. And I do have some projects, or a project that I have cast on with yarn from that, and that has been a joy to work on. And there's also mystery knit along stuff to talk about, and some other things that I've just kind of like been inspired to work on and have pulled out of the languishing whip pile. So, and then of course there's always socks, so we love socks. So that is what is on the docket next time. I may forget, we may talk about something completely different, but it is what it is. Hopefully I'll remember. At least I have this documented of what I want to talk about, so that's a positive thing. But anyway, I hope you all have been well. Hope all of your crafting endeavors have been going well and have been successful. I hope that you have had the opportunity to learn something, whether it's at a local yarn shop or online or taking a class online or whatever it may be. Don't think that we stop learning. That's a very drastic statement to make. If you have an opportunity to learn something when it comes to your crafting, whatever it is, or just other things in general, you should take up that opportunity, because it's just so much fun. It stretches your brain in really like cool ways that can be inspiring. And it can help you just like be excited about the fun things again. So that makes it sound like I wasn't excited about things before. That's not true, but I am even more excited about things now. So I have that joy for me. I want that joy for you. So I hope you have those opportunities wherever they may be. If you are able to, that will be very exciting for you. I promise. So if there are things that you want to learn about, obviously don't go learning about things that you don't want to learn about, because that would not be helpful. But you know what I'm saying. Hopefully you understand. Hopefully we have communicated. I have communicated my feelings to you. We all know I've been inspired. I feel very inspired and creatively rejuvenated, so it's all good. It's important. Okay, I'm gonna just talk in circles. This is one of the skills that I really like. If I don't podcast for a while, I like all of the skill just goes away. Closing things out, reining it in, bringing it full circle. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being you. You are wonderful. You are enough. I hope your crafty plans are so successful, whatever they may be. If you're doing a mystery knit along, I hope you're having a fun time. what is something that if you had to give, I feel like 10 minutes is too short. If you had to give a 30-minute presentation on something, what would that be? Or what would the things be? So I feel like that tells a lot about a person, or it's just fascinating to like hear what they feel so passionately about that they feel like that they could talk for 30 minutes about, which I think is fascinating. So for me, we're gonna close this out here. I could do knitting. I could do the weather. I could do the Enneagram. Would love that. What else could I do? I could do K-dramas. I could do that. Maybe not for 30 minutes. I don't know. I feel like I could, maybe not quite 30 minutes, but I could definitely get pretty passionate about that. Color theory. I feel like I could get in regards to knitting and crafting and stuff like that. I could get really passionate about, and I also can get really passionate about like music composition, which sounds really nerdy. I don't care. I feel super passionately about that, and like I know a lot about it, and it's one of those things that is just fascinating to me. Specifically classical music. I know a lot about it. Could probably talk for 30 minutes. I've written many a paper about it. So, fun fact about me. I feel like there's other things, but I would say those are the top 6. Let me know. What would you say? I'm just so fascinated. Would you like having a PowerPoint presentation to go along with these things, or could you just do it without the PowerPoint? That's also an interesting thing. Anyway, I thought that would round it out, and it did not. So we're just gonna say goodbye now because I need to get this edited so it can go up tomorrow or today when you are watching this maybe. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming back. I hope you had a fun September. If you are experiencing icky weather, bad weather, severe weather, I hope you are safe wherever you are. And I hope that you are staying the correct and nice temperature that you would like to be in. I would like to be cooler. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's okay. That's a whole other subject. I need to go. And I will see you all next time when we have so much to talk about, and who knows what progress I will make on all these wonderful projects. So with that, I will see you all later. Bye!